Hi and welcome to Verbling. My name is Hamish. This is a TOEFL speaking preparation class. So today we're going to focus on the speaking section of the TOEFL exam, and the TOEFL exam is something that a lot of students want to take when they want to continue their education, perhaps do a master's degree program in the United States, for example, and sometimes some schools in the UK as well and in other parts of Europe and other English-speaking countries will ask for a TOEFL score when you want to enter programs like that. You'll see the first 2 minutes are for our Verbling Premium users, and I want to say hello, first of all, to Frederic. Hello, Frederic. How are you? Oh, are you plugging yourself in? Frederic.
Hi.
There we go. Frederic, hello. How are you?
Hello. Fine, and you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Where are you, Frederic?
I'm from France, but actually I live in the Netherlands.
Oh, okay. So you're in the Netherlands right now. Are you? So why are you in the Netherlands? Is that for work or school or family? For work. Okay. And what do you do as a job, Frederic?
I just finished a PhD, and actually I now will begin to search for a job in the financial sector.
Okay, finance. Okay, finance. And where would you like to work?
Where? The location?
Yeah.
It will be Amsterdam, I think.
Okay, okay. And we know that's a major finance capital in Europe.
Yeah, it's a major place here.
And a great place to live as well, I think. Yes, very nice.
As well, but yeah. I'm on the backside of the country. If that can be said, and it's very green and not so urbanized.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yes, and hopefully you like either bicycles or trams, right? In Amsterdam, yes. All right, well, welcome, Frederic. I hope to get some good TOEFL speaking practice with you today. I am going to say hello also to Samuel. Samuel, hello. How are you?
Yes. Fine, and you?
I'm very well. It is a beautiful day here in Tennessee in the American South, so I'm feeling pretty good. Samuel, tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Mexico, Chihuahua City, where the ducks come from.
Very good. Okay. And do you want to take the TOEFL exam?
No, actually, but I'm going to have a job interview in English, and I want to get a little confidence speaking English.
Sure. Okay. Well, I certainly think we'll get some good English speaking practice in this TOEFL class. So welcome. Really good to meet you. Thank you, Samuel. I'm going to take a look.
Thanks.
Very good. Sergio, hello. How are you, Sergio?
Hello, I'm Sergio from Brazil, and I've never taken a test before.
Okay, and are you planning to take a TOEFL test, or do you just want to improve your spoken English today?
Yes, but not now. Maybe a year, after a year.
Okay, and are you studying or are you working right now? What are you doing at the moment?
I'm just practicing.
Sure, but outside of class, are you a student? Are you do you have a job?
No, I'm still studying. I'm a student in high school.
In high school, okay. Well, very good to meet you,
but
Sergio.
I'm using a book that's very useful.
Okay.
And it's a book that helps students with how can I say this? Phrases. Arithmetic phrases.
Okay. And then the things like phrasal verbs and idiomatic phrases, they can bring your English and especially your spoken English to life, and they can really help you understand native speakers and conversational English. So yeah, a good thing to look at and focus on sometimes. So hey, welcome to the class. Welcome. I'm going to say hello to Servet. How are you today, Servet?
Oh, I am fine. Thank you very much, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. Thanks for joining us again in class. Tell me, how's the weather in Turkey right now?
Actually, it was very cold today. In the morning, I went outside. I took a bus. It was very early. I walked a lot near the sea
Yeah.
to take some fresh air. It was cold. Hopefully, I won't be ill tomorrow.
You know what? I bet you won't be. I bet it was good for you because you know, these things sometimes helps you get on with your life, I think. Okay, very nice to see you again, Servet. I look forward to speaking with you today. Vincenzo, hello. How are you today? Vincenzo, hello. Oh, okay. We will say hello to Yusuf. Hello, Yusuf.
Yes, hello, Hamish. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Tell me again, where are you from, Yusuf?
Well, my name is Yusuf and I'm from Yemen.
Okay, Yemen. Okay. Thank you, Yusuf. Thanks for joining this class. I look forward to speaking with you and everyone else here today. I'm going to just make sure we've said hello to everyone, and so I want to say hello to is it Iraj Malik?
Yes,
How are you today?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Tell me, Iraj, where are you from?
I'm from Pakistan.
Pakistan. Very nice. Okay. Are you planning on taking the TOEFL exam, or are you just looking to improve your English?
I'm just looking to improve my English.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's still a very good reason to join us in class today. So very good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Very good. Ines, hello. How are you? Ines, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Hello, are you there, Ines?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I think so.
No, I'm
oh no, I'm sorry, but I will say hello. Oh, that's Ira. Yes, hello, Ira.
Yes, Ira. Yes, hi.
Hello, where are you from, Ira?
I'm from Ukraine.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, Ukraine. And tell me, are you planning on taking the TOEFL or any other English test?
No, now I just want to improve my English.
Okay, okay, very good. And I'm guessing it's still winter in Ukraine, isn't it? How's the weather with you?
Yes, it's quite cold in Ukraine now.
Okay, well it's well I shouldn't even say, but it's a beautiful, and it's going to be a warm day here in Tennessee. But I tell you, the weather changes like that in the south of the United States. So I suspect tomorrow it'll be just as cold as you will. So, but welcome. It's warm inside anyway. That's the good news. I want to say hello to is it Janio or Janio? Tell me.
You can say Janio.
Well, if I can say it, I shall say it. Janio, how are you today?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Where are you from, Janio?
I'm from Brazil.
Ah, Brazil. Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the class. One more. I will say hello to, is it Michelle or Michele?
Hi there, I'm Michele. I'm from Italy.
There we go. See, you have to teach me to say your name right, otherwise I'll be disastrous. Oh, you're from Italy. Excellent. And it's really good to see you today. Tell me, do you want to take the TOEFL exam, or do you want to just improve your English, your spoken English?
I want to improve my English, and one day I would like to have a test. But I'm very doubtful on what kind of tests I should do, IELTS or TOEFL. Right.
Okay. And what is it? I mean, and that's a very important question. And sometimes students will say, well, which one is easier? You know, which one will I get a better score? And the truth is, of course, it's really about what do you want to do. For example, are you looking to study? You know, to do further study in a country? Do you want to practice a profession? You know, do a certain kind of work in a country? Do you want to emigrate and live permanently in an English-speaking country? All the, you know, whatever the thing is that you want to do, that is going to really inform the type of exam that you can take. And there are some circumstances, and this is for everyone here, there are some circumstances where you will have a choice. There are some schools in the UK or the United States that will say, well, we'll take a TOEFL score, or we'll take an IELTS score, or we'll take a TOEIC score. They'll give you that choice. But other schools, and a lot of schools here in the United States, they're not interested in IELTS. They'll only take that TOEFL score. So before you decide which one you're going to take, you need to think carefully about what you want to do and where you want to do it, and really do your homework or do your research in terms of what the schools or what the profession or what the embassy, if you want to emigrate to Australia, you need to check to see what they'll require. And these are not secrets. You can go to their websites or give them a call, and they'll let you know. I mean, it's not closely guarded information. So, but definitely worth finding out, and then you can make a good decision and start preparing and practicing for these exams. All right. Hey, very nice to see you, Michaela, and also very nice to see everyone here. I am going to get started so I can make sure we get as much practice in as possible. I am also going to put a link here in the chat box. That link, it was also on my class information for today, and it's information about the specific question in the TOEFL speaking exam I want to focus on in class today. Try to see if it showed up. Try that again. I'm not seeing it in the chat, I must say. I thought I was able to do that, but one more time, probably. It's going to come up 3 times, I expect. We're going to cover that material even if it doesn't, but in the class information for today there is a link to a Google document, and that it's very much about questions 1 and 2. Ah, thank you very much. You saved me there. I appreciate it. And we're going to focus on these independent tasks, and an independent task just means they'll ask you, the computer facing you will ask you a question, and you'll have your headphones and microphone on, and you'll answer that question. You'll have a short amount of time to prepare your answer, and a less short amount of time to give your answer. But it's independent because there's no further reading to do or further listening to do. You're not having to combine several skills together. It's simply, okay, there's a question, answer it like that. So questions 1 and 2 in the speaking section of TOEFL, these are independent tasks. They are both these questions will absolutely be about you and asking for your personal opinion. Can anyone tell me the difference between question 1 and question 2?
The difference is the question 1, you have just one choice. The question, the question 2, we have 2 choices.
So about that, that's pretty solid, and exactly right. I think in question 1, there is only one choice, and that is that is your answer, your personal answer. Certainly, in both these questions, they're asking you for your personal view, and they don't ask you to be an expert in any academic subject. It's simply a question about your life, about the way you feel about things, and it could be all sorts of things: food, travel, school, friendship, your home country, all kinds of things. But it's a question for you, and a question only you can answer. And Servet is absolutely right. With question 1, it's a question for you. And for question 2, though, they will give you 2 things to choose from. Again, those 2 things, they're not complex academic subjects. It's very everyday, very things someone might ask you when they're getting to know you. And of course, for that question too, the one we're looking at today, you'll need to make a choice about which one you prefer. And the example I always give is the question might be, do you prefer to eat out at a restaurant, or do you prefer to eat at home? And a question like that, I mean, do you prefer to eat out at a restaurant, or do you prefer to eat at home? Is there, well, I mean, what's the correct answer to that question, do you think?
I think that the important thing is not your answer about which one is correct or which one is not. The important thing is, how do you support your answer? How do you start? How do you support? And how do you finish your speech?
Okay. I think you're, and of course, Sarah, I thank you for that, because you're absolutely right. It's not only do you have the freedom to choose either answer, the examiners and the assessors, they're not interested in which one you choose. They couldn't care less which one you choose, but they are very, very interested in the reasons and the examples and the details you give when you make that choice. So the very first thing you'll say in your answer to question 2 is, well, I would prefer eating out, or well, I would decide to eat in a restaurant. And then you would give the important things in your answer, which is going to be, oh, and I like eating out, I prefer eating out for these following reasons. And maybe you'll give 2 reasons with some details, or 3 reasons with some details. I think, hey, 4, you're not going to have enough time to do 4, but you want to do more than 1. So maybe 2 reasons with details or examples, or 3 reasons with details and examples. And I leave that up to students to decide that part of the structure, because some students, they prefer to give more examples with short details, and other students prefer to give less examples with more details, and that's up to you. But I would go for 2 or 3 examples with examples and details underneath that to back up your argument. So yeah, to be absolutely blunt, the examiner does not care what answer you give or what choice you make, but they care absolutely how you back that up, how you explain your answer. And of course, they also care about the vocabulary you use, the fluency of your language, and your talking speed, because all of these things, and of course the grammar you use, all of these things add up to how easy it is to understand your answer. And the easier it is to understand, the clearer a picture you're painting or drawing of your answer, most likely the better your score is going to be. Of course, if the examiner doesn't understand what you're saying because of bad word choice, or of course poor pronunciation, or perhaps you're talking too fast, if they don't understand, or if they're having to work very hard to understand what you're saying, of course that is going to hurt your score. Yeah. So we want to concentrate on speaking at a natural, smooth pace, so not too fast and not too slow. We want it to be natural, but at a good pace so they can understand what you're saying. You want to concentrate on good vocabulary, of course. That doesn't mean choose the most complicated and advanced words you can think of, but sometimes those advanced words are going to be the most appropriate ones to explain, to give a good picture and explanation of what you're talking about. So instead of happy, it might be delighted or ecstatic, or maybe there'll be an idiomatic phrase like I was over the moon, to talk about a very happy occasion in your life. So sometimes you want to use those advanced phrases, but it's more about appropriate word choice, because it has to be right for what you're talking about to give a good explanation. I want to ask one more question before we start, and that's that's really, if we think about you know, an English exam, a TOEFL exam, an exam where we know we're going to have to practice, we're going to have to produce a good level of spoken English. And this is a question for everyone here. What can we do before the test to prepare for the speaking section? What kinds of things can we do to practice or to prepare our English before TOEFL?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ines. Yes, hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry for coming. But I think for that they can practice. They can practice our level to English. Go out and speak with everyone they can meet.
Okay. Right.
Do more the exercise. And just practice.
Okay. I like both those suggestions. Okay, so we've got, you know, more studying. We've got speaking. Oops, spell that right. With, I'm putting these in the chat box here if I can. I was unsuccessful before. Here we go. Speaking with native speakers, right? Yes, I didn't see it in my chat this morning. I think I might leave that alone today. Other things you can do, and things you can do to help you prepare and feel more confident and more comfortable in the speaking section of the exam. One great thing you can do is to record yourself, to record your voice. And we can all do that these days because 99% of us have a mobile phone. But anyone here today using your computer to participate in this class, you can get free software. You'll have a mic. You must have a microphone on your computer. Otherwise, you couldn't talk to me. So we can use these devices to practice our answers to TOEFL questions or IELTS questions, whatever test you're looking to prepare for, and listen to yourself. Play it back. Listen to yourself. I don't know anyone who likes to listen to their own voice played back because it sounds very different because of the difference between hearing it here and coming up live like that. So it's going to sound different. It's something to get used to, but it's so important to practice, to use listening to your own voice to practice, because that's the way that you can really help yourself by asking yourself those questions. You know, can I understand this? Am I talking at a natural pace? What about my pronunciation? What about my intonation? Am I rising at the end for a question? Am I coming down at the end? Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
If you record yourself, so who's gonna evaluate whether what you just did is it correct or not? Who can evaluate that?
I mean, when you're practicing, if you're some independent practice, you're the one who's going to evaluate that. And I mean, it's helpful to record your voice in that way, because when you're speaking live, as we're doing right now, it's impossible. You know, you can practice answering questions, speaking live, and you can decide at the end, well, did I answer all the points in the question? Did I answer in the amount of time I had? You can look at those points, absolutely. But you can't really judge your pronunciation. You can't have a very good idea about your talking speed unless you hit record, answer the question, and then play it back and listen carefully. So I would encourage. I would not want any student to take one of these exams without listening to themselves first. Now, of course, even better to practice with a native speaker, to find a teacher, a professional teacher who can prepare you for the TOEFL exam. Of course it is. But the truth is, not all of us can afford to do that. Not all of us have access to teachers. I think Verbling is a great example of a wonderful resource where you can get online and practice with native speakers and with professional tutors. Sure. But we don't have to do just one thing. We can also do some independent study, just as you do when you pick up a, you find a book in the university library and think, okay, well, I'm going to use this to practice my reading. And of course, you can read that out loud to practice your speaking as well. So there are a lot of things you can do. And in terms of the questions that come up in any of these exams, TOEIC, TOEFL, IELTS, whatever it is, these questions, while you don't know what you're going to get, it's very easy to do an internet search on Google, whatever you want to use, and find a host of example questions. And you know what? You can find those questions. You can do the search. You could have a list of 50 possible questions for the TOEFL speaking question 2. And that's wonderful. But that it doesn't mean anything if you don't practice. If you don't practice in a realistic way, by timing yourself, by being strict, and also by recording yourself and playing it back. If you don't do these things, those 50 questions are a waste of time, because you need to practice them, and you need to practice them in the correct way as well. Okay.
Well, I got a question.
Oh, sure, Samuel, go ahead.
Yes, I took the TOEFL exams maybe 2 months ago.
Uh-huh.
And in the speaking part, I guess the hardest thing was to speak for 1 minute, because they ask you a question and your answer must be 1 minute longer. So I guess I do pretty well in the first 30 seconds, but after that it's complicated. I don't know what to do to prove that.
Well, let's think about that. I mean, so you spoke for 30 seconds,
yes,
and then for the second 30 seconds, if you like,
yes,
for the second half.
Yes. After that, I start to hesitate in the answer.
Yeah, and all we can do, and this is very, Samuel, this is very common, right?
Yes.
If we think about the first times that we practice these questions, very common, very natural for us to okay, we've got a couple of sentences we can use, we've got some phrases, and then okay, we're stuck simply because we're not used to speaking for that amount of time, and this is not a natural conversation. As you say, in the later questions for the speaking part of TOEFL, you have to speak for a minute. It's not a normal, natural conversation. It's an exam environment, and you simply have to practice. You have to practice taking that amount of time. I would say that one of the most important things, and this is especially true for the later questions, not the ones we're looking at today, but the later questions in the TOEFL section, one of the most important, essential things you do is practice taking notes. And I would say the kind of notes that you take when you're listening or when you're doing the reading part of those later speaking questions, the kind of notes you take, that depends on you as students. And some students, they'll take quite a lot of notes down in that short time. Other students, just some very key points. For me, I would take down the key points, but other students, they don't stop writing. And the truth is, you only find out the best way for you by practicing. And of course, you're going to have a very good idea about about your note-taking technique. You're going to know without anyone else telling you very quickly, because as Samuel pointed out, either you're going to have plenty to say in that 1 minute, or you're going to run out of time. If you take the right kind of notes, so you've got a structured answer, and you don't have much time. We know that this is a test of English competency. It's also a test of how well you take the TOEFL exam, and they're testing that not to be cruel and obnoxious. They're testing that because in your university life, in North America or the UK, wherever it might be, you'll be expected to give your opinion very quickly in a university class or in a seminar or a conference. they'll expect you to be able to give a confident explanation, a confident report of your views, and in English, of course, because these lectures, especially in the United States and American schools, the students, they don't sit back, they don't get to listen. Well, of course they're going to listen, but they don't just listen. They have to give answers. If they think the professor is wrong in an American school, they're going to let the professor know. There's respect for the person leading the class, but if you have a different view and if you can back it up, they will expect you to put that point forward. So that's why this kind of practice, that's why they want you to show and demonstrate you can do these things, that you can read a small passage, listen to an excerpt of a lecture, and then report the information, or even more advanced, that you can produce your own point of view. I've got a question on the chat, and she's asking, let's see, what happens if you don't spend 1 minute? Yeah, I mean, the idea with the 1 minute for those later questions, you have 1 minute to answer the question. They give you 1 minute, and they design the questions so that it should take around 1 minute to answer. They're not going to give you a question that should take 5 minutes to answer. That would be unfair. They're not going to give you a question that only needs 1 sentence to answer. That would be unfair as well. So they expect it to take about 1 minute. And if we think about 1 minute, 60 seconds, is that 8 sentences? Is that 10 sentences? It's not a lot. It's not really a lot of speaking time, but you need to structure it carefully. The truth is that when you take the TOEFL exam, and this is very different from IELTS, if you take the TOEFL exam, it will very, very likely be the IBT form of the TOEFL exam, and that means you're sitting in a room, in the exam room, and just like now, headphones on, microphone, and you're speaking into a computer. And you won't get live feedback from the examiner. The computer will read the questions out. You will give the answers, and then you're gone, you left, and then I think 2 TOEFL examiners will take a look at your answer. One of the important parts about that is, if you have 60 seconds to answer your question, and you take 70 seconds, if you speak for 10 more seconds, those 10 seconds are gone, okay? No one is ever going to hear those because they stopped recording. Now, if you take, if you have 60 seconds and you take 40 seconds and you have 20 seconds of what they call dead time at the end, well, it's possible, there's a chance maybe you gave such a fantastic answer, such a full, comprehensive answer in those 40 seconds, maybe you can still get a good score. But they assume even a native English speaker would need 60 seconds to give this answer, because they think with the kind of question they're giving you, with 60-second answer, maybe you'll need 8 to 10 sentences. I think you would have to speak very quickly to answer this in a much shorter amount of time. It's much more likely if you answer, when you have 20 seconds or half the time at the end, that there are some things that you've missed out, that you just haven't given the big answer that you need in these answers. So what I would like to do is, and I do take the point that it's embarrassing to listen to yourself. I don't know anyone who likes doing that, but the recording your own voice thing, I'm telling you now, it's a good thing to do. Lucas, I'm getting a little bit of feedback from your microphone. If you can adjust your settings or turn on your headphones.
Hear you.
Yeah, Lucas. Yes, I'm just getting some feedback from something there. If you can take a look at your settings, I don't want to have to keep muting you. Thank you for that. Oh, that's a lot better, by the way. Okay, so first of all, let me see. I've got my list of people, especially the people who came in first, and we're going to practice part 2. I'm going to ask you each time, and if you don't want to practice, you can say no. That's okay, and I'll move on to the next student. We have plenty of people here, and so don't worry about that, and please don't feel nervous about it. It's just me. It's just me in the classroom. So no need to be nervous about this. We're just practicing. That's all. Important, of course, with part 2, how much time do you have when you see the question with question 2? How much time do you have to prepare your answer?
15 seconds.
Any idea? Ah, thank you very much, sir. 15 seconds, okay? 15 seconds. I will try to type that in, but I bet I can for some reason. Yeah, I can't see any of my things in the chat box. Okay, so yeah, 15 seconds to prepare your answer. That's 15 seconds to, well, you could write 2 or 3 things, and I would encourage you to do that. 15 seconds, okay, answer. Example 1, example 2. Okay, you're ready to go. 15 seconds will not take very long at all, but it gives you time to think about it, to take, write down maybe just 2 or 3 words to help you keep that structure of your answer, because it's easy when you're speaking in a nervous situation to go blank, to forget what you're talking about. So I think 2 or 3 words, even that might be enough to help you remember where you're going with the answer. So 15 seconds to prepare. 15 seconds. How many seconds to give your answer for question 2?
45.
Servet, thank you. 45. I've got one person who knows today. I appreciate it, Servet. So 15 seconds to prepare, 45 seconds to give your answer. So not like those other ones where you had 60 seconds. This is only 45. So of course, well, the questions for question 2, they must be a little simpler, and they absolutely are as well. These are direct questions. They're going to give you a choice, an A or a B, and in your answer, you're going to have to make that preference very clear. So you're going to start off with, well, I prefer eating out, or I prefer eating at home, whatever the answer is. And then you're going to give either 2 reasons with details, or 3 reasons with details if you have time. And then you can pull it, if you have an extra 5 seconds at the end, you can make a very clear finish to your answer. And for those reasons, I prefer eating out. You could say something like that. But don't worry too much about that final part. Where you're really going to score in the TOEFL exam is, first of all, by giving a direct answer to the question, but by giving some clear and descriptive reasons for that answer. That point at the end where you say, oh, and so that's why if you have time to do that, great. But it's only 45 seconds. So if you run out of time, but you've answered and given the 2 or 3 reasons, that's still pretty good. Okay, so don't worry too much about that final point at the end. That's like the icing on the cake, really. Okay, so what I'm going to do with each one, I guess I'm going to have to share my screen, because actually, you know what? What I'm going to try first of all is to copy the question. I'm going to copy this question into the chat box just to see if anyone can see it. Okay. This isn't. We're not going to use. This is the one I gave it as an example before. Yeah, I put a question in the chat box. Can anyone see that?
No.
No, it's not working. Oh, you can?
No, I can't read it.
Okay, you can't see it. Okay, that's good to know. Well, we can solve that problem. What I will do is I'm going to put the question on my screen and then share the screen. Okay, so let me just do that. It's going to take a little bit longer, but it's going to be okay. So again, 15 seconds to prepare, 45 seconds to give your answer. I'm going to make that nice and big so you can see it. There we go. Okay, so I'll share the screen. Now I'm going to ask, I'll ask Servet first of all. Servet, are you happy to practice with us today?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so this one is Servet, but again, of course, all of you, please, all of you, take that 15 seconds. When I share my screen, take the 15 seconds, practice your, plan out your answer, write any notes you want to write out, and then I'll give this one to Servet, and I'll give him his 45 seconds. He'll give me his answer, and we'll talk about that answer, the good things, anything he needs to work on, and then we'll I'll give another student an opportunity to answer a different question. We're not all going to do the same one because it's good to have a fresh question. Good to make this a very realistic practice. Servet, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to share the screen. If you don't see the question, let me know. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm also going to read it out because you will see it on the screen in the exam, and you'll hear it as well. So I'll read it out. But of course, do let me know if you don't see it. Sorry, but I'm sorry that my chat isn't working today. Here we go. All right, Servet, can you see that first of all?
It's blurry.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Okay,
Not
I
clear.
can see now.
Okay, how about now, Servet?
Yes. Yes, I
Oh,
see
right.
it.
Okay. Excellent. Phew. Okay, Servet, the question is, would you prefer to go on a trip overseas to a new country with a companion you know, or just by yourself? I'm going to give you 15 seconds to prepare your answer. Your 15 seconds start now. Okay, Servet, please begin your answer now.
Yes. I would prefer going on a trip with a companion because of some reasons that contains some. I think this reason is based on some researches because people usually wants to share their experiences in different ways. Sometimes they do this to show off, sometimes just to speak friendly, because this is the nature of people. When you feel happy, you want to share it.
Okay. Let's see, 2, 1. All right. Okay. And there's your 45 seconds. So that again, a good example for everybody of what 45 seconds feels like. Servet, tell me, is that an easy question or a difficult question for you?
Actually, the question is pretty easy, but I couldn't find any really good supporting sentences, I think, enough.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, let's think about the answer. You know what I gotta say? You the very first thing you did was answer the question, which is what you have to do, and you were very clear about your answer. The way I feel about your answer was you gave I would say you gave one strong reason why, and that was about the sharing of experiences, and then it was kind of sort of two examples of why that's a good thing. And you talked, of course. Well, first of all, I like the expression you said. People like to show off, and that's absolutely true. They like to show off about having gone somewhere or where they are, and also you said for more positive, you said to be friendly.
Yes.
So I like that. So you had that sort of overall, well, I'd want to go with a companion because to share these experiences first of all, you can show off, and two, you can also do this with a friend in a positive way as well. So yeah, so I like those two examples. I think for a higher score and a more comprehensive one, you would want to hit that share experiences point, and you can give exactly those details you gave, but you'll need something else. You'll need a second key reason. Now that we're thinking about it, Servet, is there another reason you can think of why going with a companion is better than going by yourself?
If you are married, of course you will want to go with your maybe girlfriend to do something, to experience something romantic. Maybe is another reason.
Right. Sure.
But they are similar things. But this is a problem. I can give maybe a few examples, but they are so similar. I wanted to find some a little bit different things, but they look similar, very similar things.
No, I see the problem you're having, and I appreciate that point. And I think for a question like this, it can be quite difficult to think, as you say, of some very different, some very separate reasons why you might want to go together. I mean, I would think. I mean, your first reason, that key one about sharing experiences. I mean, 100%. That's one that makes a lot of sense to give. I would suggest perhaps you could also talk about, you know, to be honest, it's easier if you have, you know, if I'm going on a holiday somewhere and I went with a companion, and of course, you know, we share the same first language. Well, then it's easier to get around and easier to share some. Okay, whose turn is it to book the hotel? Whose turn is it to open the phrase book and speak in that foreign language? So there's a little bit of comfort there when you have someone you can speak to in your own language. I think maybe for security reasons, you'll feel safer because there's two of you, and you know, especially if it's two women, of course, you could feel a lot safer traveling in a pair like that. So, you know, I mean, I'm sure there are lots of reasons we can give, but it does. We'd be looking for two or three things. But that first reason you gave was strong, and I liked your examples underneath it. So, very nice. And Serva, thank you for being our first practice today. I appreciate that. Thank you, Serva. Nice one. Let me see. Michele, tell me, are you happy to practice with us today?
Yes, I think it is very useful for me.
All right, okay. So I'm going to give you a different question, and I'm going to try and share that screen with you, and let me know, of course, if you can't see it. So everybody, please practice along. Please take the 15 seconds to think about, to take whatever notes you think you should take for your answer, and think about that answer, and we'll listen to Michele as he gives his answer, and we'll have a little talk about it as well, and then we'll carry on for the next one. So let me see what we have here. Okay, this is a student's one. You'll see these questions, they'll either really be about your sort of personal work or travel, or they'll be about academic questions. Again, I'm going to make this as big as I can, and if it's fuzzy, if it's not clear, especially for Michele, you let me know. There we go. I think am I sharing already? Let me see. One second. I'm sorry, can you see my screen at the moment?
No.
Or do I need to share it?
No.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. If my chat box was working, I'd be a lot better. Oh, there we go. Okay, now things are going to happen. I beg your pardon. Here we go. Right, I'm going to start my screen share now. Okay, Michele, can you see that okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so I read it out, just as we'll do in the TOEFL exam. I'll give you the 15 seconds, etc. Okay, so the question is, some students go directly to the teacher with questions about their coursework. Others prefer to ask their classmates first. Which do you prefer? Michele, you have 15 seconds to plan your answer. Your 15 seconds begin now. Okay, Michele, please begin your answer now.
Yes. I prefer to talk about my classmates first, because if I have the same problem that they have, I think that is we can share the solution. But if you have a very strong question, I think that you should talk with your teacher to feel more secure and to to solve all your problems. But in general, I like to talk with my classmates first.
Okay. Thanks, Michaela. You got 5 seconds left, but that's that's neither here nor there really. Now, tell me. So this was a more and maybe half the questions we could get for question 2 are very much about student life, and of course they're checking to see, do you understand, especially a North American student life. But again, of course, there's no right or wrong answer to this question, not at all, because it's about a preference. It's not about, well, what is the correct thing to do. It's saying, well, which one would you like to do? Which one do you, in your experience, do you prefer to do? Michaela, first of all, is this a difficult question or an easy question for you?
I think that it was an easy question, but I think that there is not too much for talking about.
Yes, that can be a problem, right? Okay. Well, let me see. First of all, you gave a strong first answer. You said, okay, well, I'd rather talk about it with my classmates. You gave a clear example why, which was I always think of it as sharing the pain. But you talked about, if it's if you talk about it, then you can share the solution, and I like that. I like that phrase. In your answer, you went on to say, okay, well, if it's something especially complicated, well, then we could go to the professor or the teacher, because they're the expert. Well, at least they're paid to be the expert, anyway. And that's, I understand the logic of your answer. But it's very important when you answer these questions, because that's which you prefer. This is not about giving a balanced answer. It's not about covering both points.
Sorry, teacher, can you repeat this? Sorry, teacher, can you repeat this? Can you repeat this time, because there was a lag.
Okay. Okay. No, sure thing. What I'm saying is you covered both sides. Michaela, in your answer, you talked about why why you might prefer to talk with your classmates, and you also gave a good reason why, if it's especially difficult or advanced, why you might go to the teacher to talk about it. I understand why you did that. That's a very natural, logical way to talk about that. But in a question like this, well, the question is, which do you prefer? So you absolutely want to concentrate on the choice you're making. So if you prefer to talk with your classmates, then talk about that, right? Give the answer, which you did, and then 2 or 3 reasons why. You know what? If you've got 5 seconds to spare, you could say, oh, and of course, in some circumstances, I might choose to go directly to the teacher. You might do that. But you're going to want to concentrate not on giving a balanced answer that covers both sides. You don't need to do that. You don't need to care about the other side. It's about giving your opinion and backing up your views. Whichever side you want to choose, just concentrate on that. Concentrate on the reasons why. And I mean, you said it yourself, and I absolutely agree. It can be hard to think sometimes of 2 or 3 reasons.
I got it. Maybe you want to say that I should have talk about my opinion and not my suggestions. Is it?
Yeah, I very much talk about your opinion, and your answer will be, the direction of your answer will be informed by the choice of A or B. And if we said A can be speak to your classmates first, and so if you choose A, talk about A and give those 2 or 3 reasons.
Yes.
And you don't really need to address or talk about going directly to the teacher, and unless you have a couple of seconds at the end. If you've given a full answer and you want to mention, well, of course there are some circumstances when you go directly to the teacher. Well, that's fine. But yeah, concentrate, because they're the examiner is looking for, okay, do I know which one he chose? And we do, right? Did he give me 2 or 3 strong reasons with details or examples. In this case, I think we got one, and then you started to talk about the other things. And in a conversation, that's very natural because we want to talk, we want to be open and democratic and talk about both sides. But that's not the objective. The objective is to voice your opinion or your preference and to give reasons why. But hey, the language you gave me, a lot of it was strong, good talking speed, good pronunciation. So Michele, there were a lot of good things in your answer, a lot of good things. Okay, and thank you for practicing with us. I'm going to try and squeeze in one more. Okay, let me see.
Me?
Who's that? Sure, why not? Okay. Sergio, are you happy to practice with us today?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to, well, I think I'm sharing screen already, so, again, apologies for the technical difficulties I've had today. I don't know why I couldn't get with you, but, get my question on here 1 second. Not that one, of course. Let's find another one. Okay.
Teacher, can I say something to you?
Yeah, sure.
I think that it's much important your class before we know how to choose the correct answers and put the argumentation in order for mainly if you do it with coherent argumentation.
Yeah, and with question 2, of course, there is no correct answer. There's the answer you choose is going to be the correct answer, but very important to be direct about the answer, and very important to give your examples, those strong examples, those details, and that's where we need to sometimes be a little creative, of course. Sergio, I'm going to share my screen again, and hopefully we can see this question. And of course, for everyone, please practice along. Sergio, can you see my screen okay? Can you see the question?
Yes, I can see it.
Excellent. Okay, so the question, during your spare time, would you prefer to watch a movie or read a book? I'm giving you 15 seconds to prepare. Your 15 seconds start right now.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Sergio, whoever that is, we're taking 15 seconds to prepare. There we go. Okay, Sergio, sorry about my talking over the middle of that. Of course you can. Please go ahead.
I'd prefer to read because I can use my imagination to create the scenarios, the scene, and it's better than see a movie because some movies do not have the same things that are written in a book. I mean, if I read a book, I can imagine everything with more details, and I can have more fun than just watching a movie.
Okay, thank you, Sergio. I like that was I felt like a very realistic, very natural answer. Tell me, Sergio, a question like that, what do you think? Is that a good question for you or a difficult one?
I think it's a very common question and easy.
Definitely a classic TOEFL, even a classic IELTS question. I can see someone in the IELTS exam asking in the speaking section about movies and books and all those good things. Did you answer the question?
Yes.
I think so. You made your choice very clear. You said, okay, well, I prefer to read a book. That was very solid. Let's see. You gave 1 or 2 answers. I like the language you used. I thought it was fluent. I thought the ideas flowed together. Used some good some very natural terms, like, I mean, you even used "I mean" to go on to go on to explain your idea, and that's a very natural, very common way for someone in English to explain themselves. You know, they'll give a reason and then say, oh, I mean, and then give that detail, and you did that. And yes, I liked your reasons. I mean, you talked about, of course, first of all, using your imagination. You talked about, well, that book can be a more full experience. I mean, I think towards the end you talked about it being a more fun experience. I think if you say that it's going to be more fun, you need to explain that and to give a reason why about that as well. But I liked the language. I thought it flowed very well. A good talking speed. You don't want to speak any faster than that, but it was a good natural pace, and pronunciation was good as well. So yeah, you're right. This is a very common question, and I would hope a lot of students would answer this one very confidently, because we should all have a very clear view about which one we prefer. But having said that, I thought you gave a very good answer, Sergio. Thank you for practicing with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, I'm well out of time. I better go. Thanks, everyone. We're going to run this TOEFL speaking class again on Wednesday at the same time. So I'm sorry that for those who didn't get a one-to-one practice with me today, but please come and join me again on Wednesday at the same time, and we're going to do a little bit more practice on question 2, and yeah, we're going to improve our speaking that way. Okay, thanks very much for your time and your conversation and your participation. I really enjoyed working with you all, and yeah, I'll see you. Have a good day. I'll see you all again very soon.
Have a good day, Hamish.
Thank you.
All right, nice one. You're welcome.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.